Hey, what's up guys? Learning with Rich here. So for today's topic, I'm going to show you a quick video on how to change the color of your wiring in Revit MEP 2019. Okay, so I have received this question from one of my subscribers and this is my answer to that. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project and I'll be using here an electrical template. Okay, so in case you don't have electrical template, you can always use systems default metric. So it is a combination of mechanical and electrical discipline. Okay, so if you don't have the systems default metric as well as the electrical default metric, you just need to inform me and I'm going to share this to you. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and select electrical default metric. I'm going to open to create the project. Okay, and then I'm going to show you first uh, one of the tools that we can use to change the color of our wiring. Okay, so let me just create first a wire. So I'm going to select systems here. I'm going to select here wire. Okay, and then I'm going to pick 2 points. 1, 2, and then I'm going to pick one here. Alright, so this is now my wire. Okay, so if I'm going to change this wire, okay, I'm going to use the first thing that will come into your mind is to use the visibility graphic overrides. Yes, so you can use that. You can type VV, okay, and then you just need to look for wires. Just click that, okay, and then you can change here the override. So I'll click this one and then I'll change this to red, and then I'm going to select your OK, and then I select your OK, then I select your OK. And then that is what will going to happen. So it will change now the color to red. Okay, so every wire that you will be creating, okay, it will change that to color red, okay, based on the visibility graphic overrides. But take note, if you're going to change your view, okay, you will not be able to see this wire in other view. Okay, so you can only see this in the view where you have created it. Okay, so if I go to lighting, you'll not be able to see that here. If I go to 3D, you'll not be able to see that. Okay, so you can only see that wire in the view where you have drawn it. Okay, so it's not here as well. So let's check if the visibility graphic overrides for wiring is unchecked. So it's still checked here, but then again, it's not showing here because your wire is something like a detail item. Okay, it's a 2D drawing. You'll not be able to see that in other view. Okay, now the problem is if you're going to change the type of wire, so I'm going to select the wire. So let's say I'm going to select here this one, THWN. So I'm going to click that. Okay, so as you can see, the color will inherit the same color because you have changed the settings on the visibility graphic overrides. So let's say, for example, this is not what you want. What you want is you want to have a different color of the wire. Okay, so I'm going to show you the second option. So we are not going to use the visibility graphic overrides. So what we want is every time we change the type of our wire, okay, we want to have a different color. Okay, so let me just go ahead and change this back to its normal or default color. So I'm going to open again the visibility graphic overrides and then the wires, and then I'm going to clear the overrides. So I'm not going to use the visibility graphic overrides on the model categories. Then I'm going to select here OK. Now instead of using that tab, using model categories tab on the visibility graphic overrides. So what I'm going to go ahead is I'm going to select filters. Okay, so this filter is the one that I'm going to use. So let's say, for example, this is what? So this is XHHW. The other one is uh, THWN. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a filter that is rule based. So I'm going to type VV And then I'm going to select here filters, and then I'm going to select edit new. I click this one, and then on a rule-based filter, I'm going to select new. All right, so I select this, and then you can name it. So let's say, for example, this is my type 1 wire, or whatever wire is that, or whatever name that you want. So type 1, and then I'll go ahead and select OK. And then I'm going to select here the wires. So this is the category that I want to be included to the filter that I'm creating. So I'm going to select wires. And for the rules, so I'm going to select here the type, wire type. Okay, so there is no wire type. Type, okay, so we can use the type here. So I'm going to select type that is containing, what's that again? XHWN. Let me double check. All right, XHHW. Okay, so XHHW. So VV filters, edit new, new. All right, so filter one. This is for my wires. Okay, so I'm going to select here type, and then that contains XHHW. All right, so this is the filter for my type, for that type. So I'm going to select here add, and then I select filter one. That's it. So I'm going to change here the colors. So let's say green. I select OK. You can also change the line weight here as well as the pattern if you want. So I'm just going to use the color. Select OK. So let me select here OK. Alright, so that is not working. Okay, because the category that we have selected there is type. Okay, so it's not wire types. Okay, so what we are going to do is I'm going to select VV. I'm going to edit this filter, this one. So instead of type, I'm going to use here insulation. Okay, so insulation, we need to look for a parameter that we can use on the wire type because there's no wire type here. So let's look for another parameter. So if I'm going to cancel this one, let me just show it to you quickly. If I click this and then edit type, you can see that one of the parameter here is insulation. Okay, so insulation. So we will be using this. Actually, there's a type here. So before we go to the insulation, so let us modify the type of our filter. So VV filters, edit new. Okay, so instead of contains, I'm going to select here equal. Equals. Okay, so this is type of wire. So as you can see, there really is no arc, wire type here. Okay, because this is the type of wire. So instead of using this, I'm going to use insulation. So insulation that contains XHHW, then OK, green, and then OK. So you will notice it's now working. Okay, so let's us now change this one. So this one, the property that we will be using is insulation as well. So the insulation contains the word or letters THWN. So let's try to do that. So VV, you go to filters, edit new, you create a new one. Okay, so filter to, or you can name it whatever you like. So just select OK. And then let's select the category that we want to be included to the filter to. Let's move the slider down, click the wires, and click the drop down arrow. Let's look for insulation that contains, what's that? DHWN, and then select OK. So let's now add the filter that we just created, and there you go. Select that, then OK. So let's say we want this to be blue. OK, OK, and then OK. So as you can see, it's now working. So every time you create wire, okay, it will be based on the insulation. Okay, so the rule is the insulation contains the insulation type. Okay, so if you want to create a new type, say different color of your wire, so instead of using these two, so let's say you have a another type of wire, so you just need to duplicate this. So let's say this is your type 3. Okay, so this is your type 3, and then you just need to key in here what is the insulation of the type 3. So let's say I'm going to type T3, enter. Oh, sorry, you just click the drop down arrow. You can customize this, just click the drop down arrow, and then you can see here the type of insulation. So let's say for the type 3, I want FEP, that's the insulation. So I'm going to select here, okay. Alright, so I'm going to create wire here. Okay, so now I need to create a filter for that. Okay, so what's the insulation again? So this is FEP. So you can type VB filters, edit new, just create a new one, filter 3, move the slider and then select wires and look for insulation that contains, what's that, FEP. FEP. Okay, and then you just need to add it. Okay, so let's say this is for my red. Then okay, then okay, then okay. There you go. Okay, so take note that you can also use the other parameters here. Not only the insulation, but you can also use the other parameters here. Alright, so like for example, if there's a parameter that you can use for material, so you can use the material on the rule. So if you want to use the parameter for the neutral size, so you can use this one if you want to control the color. Okay, so it's up to you. Just take note of the rules that is available when you create a filter. So for the wires, so let's check. So these are the parameters that you can use for the wires. Okay, so the neutral size, max size, neutral conductors, the panel, the type. Okay, so these are the parameters that you can use. Okay, all right, so basically that's how you customize the color of your wiring. Okay, you can use the filter. Okay, so do not use the model categories here and then go to the wires. Do not use this one because it will apply to all the wires. To be more specific, just use a filter. Okay, so hopefully you learned something from this video. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, just put it in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.